Hello. Welcome to the Well After Hours. I'm Beverly Allen, and we're gathering together again around the well to discuss a topic that is familiar to everyone and a necessity to everyone. In fact, it is the second most referenced topic in the Bible: money and possessions. Can you imagine? There are over 800 mentions about money in Scripture, and yet never anywhere does it ever say that debt is a positive segment. It's not. And so today we are going to learn so much about financial wealth and growth of finances, and we're going to also learn about death and its eradication and repair. And I have two great guests today. I am just so excited that I have two very qualified people that are going to talk to you about money. So go grab everybody that's in debt that you know, anyone that needs some financial instruction, and we all need direction in our finances. We need to learn how to be good stewards of our finances, because as they say in Proverbs, it said that the borrower is a slave unto the lender, and we don't want to be slaves, not in this day and age. We have to learn how to handle our business and our finances. And not only that, in Matthew, the 25th chapter, it talks about the wealthy man. Jesus talks about him, the wealthy man that left his servants in charge of his finances, and there were three servants, and he gave them each money to look over finances. One had 5 talents of coins, the other had 3, and one had 1. And when he came back from his journey, they all greeted him. 2 of them were happy because they had grown what he had been given. And the other one that only had 1 talent was very sad because he didn't do anything but bury it and hide it. And Jesus said, "You wicked, slothful servant." We do not want to be slothful servants in the kingdom. We want to grow. If Paul said, "I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health," we need to be able to prosper. And it's not God's problem, it's our problem. So I'm glad that we have today Nicole B. Simpson, who is a CFP and CEO of Harvest Wealth Financial, and she's going to give us instruction on how to grow our finances. And we have Darion M, who is the Vice President of Sales at Phase 1 Credit Repair. And he's going to tell us how to get out of debt, stay out of debt, and how to recover from debt. So welcome. I'm so glad to have you both here, because this is a topic that I have spoken to both of you about and gotten some good counsel and instruction, and I'm happy about that. Amen. So let's start. And we want to talk about growing our finances. And that's something in the church sometimes people don't share. They don't talk about finances. And you're a pastor. I know you teach your congregation
I do.
Finances.
Well, I have this saying that if you and your friends are not conversing about finances, you need new friends.
Absolutely.
And the reason why is because you are engaging in all aspects of conversation and dialogue. And your friend group is really indicative of where it is that you are. And so you want to be around or centered or gleaming from your peers in a way that will help you to advance in every area of your life. And finances is a major part of every decision that you make. And so if you don't have the economic resources or access to resources, you're limited in what we talk about when we deal with dreams and visions and destiny. You know, you can't build a vision without finances. Exactly. And so it really is an essential part of life, and what it is that we need to be more in dialogue or conversation about.
You know, oftentimes people think that, well, I don't make that much money. I don't have that much money. But I've heard you counsel people on taking small steps. That just because you don't have much money doesn't mean you shouldn't make any steps of advancement at all towards building up your finances.
That's the difference between stewardship and understanding, you know, where resources come from. I think if you're a good steward, then there is always a place for savings and investment. There's wisdom that's attached and or connected to it. And one of the things that people say when they say, "I can't save," I show them the ways. If you're working, there is an opportunity and the ability that you have to save. It is about creating discipline in your own life and determining why is this essential. And so for those individuals that say that they can't save, I tell them all of the things that they do that are the luxurious items or, you know, the customary things that they like, you know, even with eating out every day. By the time I finish with your food bill, people are looking like, yeah, I probably could save at least $20, $25 per pay period. And people don't understand that when you save even for retirement, you have an opportunity to reduce your tax liability in the current year, and no one wants to pay Uncle Sam more than what he's justly deserved. And so it's just a matter of perspective and knowing, because people don't know how they can do it. And that's why you need individuals such as myself or Darion who deals with credit. I think that's important as well.
And I think just to elaborate on that, you said a good thing is the discipline. Just one of the things that I do, kind of weekly. Every Sunday, I look at my accounts to see what comes in and what comes out. And I kind of strategize, what my expenses are going into the following month. I know that, okay, I get 2 haircuts each month. All right, that's set out the way. Groceries are this particular amount, and any other miscellaneous things are calculated, any other Netflix, any of those things are calculated. And I think that, you said a big thing is discipline. Yeah. Discipline is definitely a huge key into saving.
And actually, so when you have clients that come to you and they're looking to get out of debt,
Absolutely.
And they need their credit repaired.
Absolutely.
I know there's such a good thing as good credit and bad credit.
Right.
We
Absolutely.
can't all pay cash for a car.
Right.
We can't pay cash for a house.
Absolutely.
So those are things that, that's not being a slave to a lender. But like you say, you have a budget,
Right.
that you work on, that you look before you count up the costs before you purchase things.
Man, consider the cost before you buy a house. Right.
Exactly.
Because by the time they come to you, Darion, people are overwhelmed with debt. What do you do?
At the time, I always tell my clients that everybody goes through life. Everybody goes through life. It's not a situation to where at least I wasn't. In school, we weren't taught this particular situation. We're not taught, finance. We're not taught about, I didn't even know I had a Social Security number until I graduated high school. I knew I had a Social Security number, but I didn't know how powerful those numbers were.
Right.
And you don't know how, powerful those numbers were until you're already $5,000 in debt from your first credit card. Or you don't know that unless you're a college student, and you're taking out these loans, and then by the time you graduate, you're already about, $60,000, $70,000 in debt. So a lot of the times that I just tell my clients is, I understand, life's happened, but, we have to adjust it to where, it's not overnight. I always tell my clients it's not overnight, and it's small steps, and we play a big part. They play a big part. It's a big cooperative team on what we have to go through to get the goal that we have in mind for the client.
Small steps.
But let me just piggyback off of that for a moment, Darion, because I think one of the things that we don't understand when we get into debt at such a young age, you mentioned college, the college debt that you have, but let me just tell you how the college system is designed. You're so excited, you go to school, and they always have like this row of individuals with things that have your alma mater on it. This is the school you're representing. Absolutely. And you might want to get a jacket, a sweatshirt, or something of that nature. Absolutely. And they're like, sure, no problem. You can have this. Sign up for this credit card, and you can get the T-shirt or the sweatshirt that you want. And you're not realizing that when you're taking on that credit card that they're offering to you for really what you wanted was on the table. But when you take on the credit card, they'll give it to you because you're in college. And so absolutely. For somebody that's in college, the way they have it, you got freshman orientation, you need an outfit for that. Mm-hmm. Then you got homecoming, you need an outfit for that. Exactly. And you might be responsible in the beginning, but you're giving people credit cards that don't have a job. They're in college. Exactly. And so it just gets worse and worse and worse. And by the time it's all said and done, you find yourself amassed with debt from not only school student loans, but now you have credit card debt, and you're trying to figure out, how do I start life now? Because I'm starting in the hole, or I'm starting from the negative.
You're starting negative. Yeah.
And you need a coach. I mean, as a certified financial planner, I've been doing this for 28 years, and I've been a CFP for 19 years. That is creme de la creme, everybody, for those of you that don't know. And I say that because culturally, we don't even know what a certified financial planner is, but it says that I've got the experience and the expertise to tell individuals how to manage properly their money, how to start off slowly, how to work your way out of debt, how to build up assets to make sure your assets are greater than your liabilities. And those are the things that we think we can make it happen overnight. And so when people come, whether they come, I'm sure, to you or to me, one of the things they say is, I can't afford to save. And I say, you can't afford not to. So now that we've established that, how do we get started? Exactly. And I think that that's the conversation, and taking the sense of money being overwhelming out of the equation. And so I am most ecstatic about young people when they come and they're, in their early 20s, and they're saying, how we're going to do this, and we're able to make it happen. And I think that's critical, because when you get my age, or, just a little more mature than me, then it's like, you're playing against the 8 ball, but if you start off early enough, you'll find yourself in the best position possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, listen, I'm not perfect. I love the shop, but throughout the years, you have to realize this is not the position that I kind of want to start falling into, because then you start to drown into that sinking, that sunken hole, and then now you're at a situation to where when you realize that you're in a very, very bad place, now you want an immediate result. And you got to understand, and I always tell my clients, it took years to get us to this particular place. It's not going to take us, a couple of months to get us out.
Right.
But with the work of us, the work of, a cooperative team, and the work of you as an individual with the discipline, we can definitely get a good outcome.
So you each can give some steps. We'll start with you, Nicole. Somebody's starting almost at ground zero. What can they do?
Okay, so you have to have a job. You start that first. You have to have a job.
Rule number 1.
Get a job. No. Some tangible steps is really sort of ascertaining what your monthly expenses are, which is what Darion indicated in the very beginning. You have to determine what is, a necessary expense and one that is optional or what have you. So you have mandatory expenses. Like you need to, have roof over your head. There are individuals that, whatever transportation that you have gas and electric. I don't think everybody and their mother needs a cell phone. However, it is a necessary expenditure that we have. We have to determine what those things are first, because without knowing what you have in front of you, you can't plan for anything else. I also put mandatory, which it's technically called discretionary and non-discretionary. So once I've determined what the non-discretionary items are, I'm looking at what it is that we're managing. If you do have a full-time job, before we even get anywhere else, I'm signing you up for whatever your retirement offer is on your job. I'm looking at what your company is matching you, and oftentimes companies match you 50 cents on the dollar or $1 for $1, and many people feel like they're overworked and underpaid. So we're going to set you up, whatever that percentage is, we're doing that first. That already makes you a saver. Sure, you can't spend it until you're 59 and a half, but that's the first thing that you need to do. The second thing that you need to do is begin to build up what we call emergency cash. The only reason why you would know what your emergency cash is because you've looked at your monthly expenses, and so that would be 3 to 6 months worth of emergency cash, meaning that you want to be able to maintain or preserve your lifestyle should life happen or an emergency come into place. And then you're looking at how can I begin to not only save but also to invest. And so those are the first few things that I would do if I was just getting started in my savings and my investment, and that's for anybody, whatever age that they are.
So Darion, what are some of the steps you would tell someone trying to get out of debt?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to look at, it goes to what I said before, you got to look at, what's coming in and what's coming out. You can, usually at the top of the year, this is what I do. This is an X amount of what I make. This is my car payment for the year. This is this for the year. This is that for the year.
So it's like doing a real budget.
It's a real budget. I do it every Sunday, and then at the top of the year, when I'm going to file my taxes, I see the amount that I have, and I see what I'm projected to look at, and anything that's a need, it's over to the left. Anything that's possibly miscellaneous, whether it's shopping, whether it's a trip, whatever, it's on to the right. But I have to figure out what I'm when I'm bringing in and what I'm taking out. And the good thing is going to the credit side of it, you want to look at a lot of my clients are usually have a 80 to 90% utilization on their credit cards,
right.
And at that point, to try to get try to apply for another loan or another credit card, Peter's not gonna, lend you $10,000 if you see that you already have something hanging with John, for $6,000, because then he's gonna identify and say, okay, well, either this person here is either going bankrupt, they have poor spending habits, or we have to find out what's gonna happen within the next month. So what I try to do is I try to tell my clients to keep all their credit cards under 30%. If you're really disciplined, keep it under 20. So that
you're more generous than I am, or less generous than I am. But that's very important.
Yeah, I try to tell them, if we're really looking to obtain a goal, we have to put ourselves in, the most uncomfortable positions possible. And we were so comfortable at going to that 80 and 90%, but now we have to kind of really scale back to a point where we say, okay, I'm at 10, I'm at 30%. I have to maintain that, because now you're going to be at a situation to where it's going to be a cycle to where now you're training yourself for that particular position. Yeah, you're training yourself for that. So as long haul, as we're working on your credit, and as you as a consumer, as you're monitoring yourself, it all comes into one monster and we get a great outcome.
I do want to say one thing, because there are individuals that are looking to pay down their credit, and oftentimes they'll look at the outstanding balance of a thing instead of looking at the interest rate that it costs to borrow. And so I try to tell individuals, if you're looking to minimize your debt overall, what we want to do is we want to tackle those that are paying the highest interest rate, because it's costing you more to borrow from them. And so we systemically work our way down until we get to an optimal area in all areas across the board. For those individuals, oftentimes you'll get a store card first, but store cards might charge you 25-26%, and that's if you don't pay off the balance within the end of the month. And so who wants to pay that? So when going to an area like that, we'll pay the store credit cards off first, and then go down and pay a minimum balance on regular or major credit card when we're trying to manage and get our credit down, because it makes sense. And I think that's how people are better able to minimize their debt, and then they can save, because they need to see Darion before they come see me.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So I'm trying to help all of y'all come see me. Go see her first, and then you can come see me.
Absolutely. And I mean, another thing as well, even with, I got a lot of clients that go into kind of car situations.
Right.
And, they may have a salary of, $32,000, $35,000, but they have a $23,000 car. At that point, I try to say, you already got the car. It's fine, but the other thing is the hook and bait of the whole, automobile situation. Now, and I'm saying this because this is a true situation to where a lot of clients just, I want a car. We see the advertisements to where it says $2,000 down, and you pay $250 a month. The thing that they don't tell you is the, they kind of ride through it because they know the excitement that you have. They don't tell you that, or they kind of fly by the interest rate that you said, 20%. So now you have to tackle that particular percentage. But the thing is that they say, all right, well, just pay the $225, but they don't tell you to pay the $225 plus the interest rate.
Right.
So it's kind of a situation to where
it's a bait and switch.
It's a bait and switch situation, because now you have a car for 60 months. Your salary is at $35,000. Your car is at $23,000. God forbid if anything happens, you're sitting on a $23,000 car.
It's almost like the car better be your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
And oftentimes it finds itself that way because people are not properly saving and investing. And I think that in today's day and age, because this is spiritual, we at the church need to be more responsible. And that's the one thing that there has been many individuals that have targeted the church and have not done justly by the church. But in today's day and age, we need to be more financially savvy overall, because it is failing us as a collective culture and community. And I will say this to all pastors that are out there. It is not the charisma of how to talk about money. There ought to be some foundation and some substance attached or connected to it. Experience and expertise. Charisma about how to articulate the message is not enough. And that's where I think pastors have gotten burnt, and so they don't want to share that information. But like you said in the very beginning, finances is in the Word of God. Money is addressed more. You keep asking for money, so you need to make sure people are financially stable enough to be able to be a blessing to the church. And we do not take the time out to be good stewards. And unfortunately, that is because there are many pastors out there that are not good financial stewards. So you can't teach which you don't know.
Yes.
And that's problematic at best.
And it's good that you said that, because the church needs to understand is that the Bible doesn't say money is evil.
It
It's
says
the
the
love
root.
of money.
The love of money is
the
root.
love of money.
Yeah.
You know, when you let finances separate you from your need for God, from having a relationship with the Lord. But God would, I think many more of us would be prosperous if we would follow really the
Principles
guidelines of the Bible.
Absolutely.
It really
Listen.
is. It's there. It's there to be a blessing. So, and people need to learn to find people of integrity that they can discuss this with, because we have gotten to the place where we don't want to talk to anybody. We don't want anybody. That's the door we will not open to let anybody.
And it's
into our
unfortunate
finances.
because
It
we
is.
really need to have a conversation about money. We need to have a conversation about finances because it will help for the sustainability of the church.
Yes, it will.
And here's the truth. You want people to pay tithes. But if that person hits hard times, the church is not in the position to help people. And so there's got to be a relationship that is established, built off of trust, where everybody's vested interest is taken into consideration.
Absolutely.
And that's what comprehensive financial planners do.
That's good. Well, listen, I know our time is winded down. It's so fast. You start talking about money.
I know, right?
We're going to have to do a part 2 on this.
That's fine.
It's
That's
an
fine.
inexhaustible subject, and I'm
Absolutely.
so happy that you all came to be with us today to really shed light on this, and because it's something that's so needful.
Right.
Because Christians should not be as stressed out as they
We shouldn't be
are.
broke.
No.
I'm just going to put that out there. We shouldn't be
Yeah, we
broke.
shouldn't be broke.
That's it. That's
You
it.
know, we-
And life does happen, but we can work it all through.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you know, because it doesn't glorify God, because we
Right.
have the image of just being poor, broke down people, and that's not
Absolutely.
really true.
Right.
You know, so we thank God for that revelation, and for what you both have imparted today. If there's anything two last seconds that you want to say to any of the viewers today that you think that might help them most of all as we close, feel free to do that.
Well, I have a motto, live off of dividends. And people always ask me,
Oh,
what
there
does
you
that
go.
mean, live off of
Yeah.
dividends? That means that you are like the tortoise and the hare. It's a little parable. I'm probably sure you've heard it before. You are not going to be the hare in life when it comes to finances, but be that tortoise, slow and steady. And at some point in your life, you will get to the point where the money that you've accumulated over time, you're able to live off of the dividends of that and enjoy life to the fullest. Live off dividends.
Yeah, I think that I kind of want to go, kind of want to recap on is, again, know what's coming in and know what's coming out. Be prepared for everything. Be knowledgeable on, what's going into your account, what's coming out of your account. Be knowledgeable about, what you actually have and knowing, what type of future that you want to build. Because you have to structure that. It comes with the game plan first, then you go out to the court and play.
That's right.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, and thank you all for gathering around the well with us again. Don't forget, every Thursday, 7:30 p.m., meet us at the Well After Hours. Bye-bye.